Do you ever wonder how you end up doing what you're doing in this world? I wonder about that every day. I am so lucky. You know, I grew up here as a young kid in Algoma country and had friends that liked to do what I like to do. And, you know, when I grew up, all my friends, when we were in high school, they come out of high school and they went to work in a steel plant. Made good money, bought a house early in their life, had nice trucks and toys. It wasn't for me. I went kind of the other direction. Like some of my friends, I went to the farm. And at that point in my life, I really didn't care what I was doing. I just knew that I was going to be outside doing something. Ever since I was a little kid, I would be, I'd play in the yard and I would be told, you can't go past those trees, don't go to the field. I get all that. But you know what? I'm so fortunate and so happy that things worked out the way they worked out for me. Here I am, almost 60 years later. I'm still out on the land, enjoying what I do. I'm trapping, I'm fishing, I'm hunting in all the areas that I grew up in. And that's just amazes me, and I laugh about it sometimes. Right now I'm not, it's not the fall, I'm not fur harvesting, I'm trapping nuisance animals, which are, they got to be looked after. This beaver was starting to flood a municipal road, so we needed to take care of it. Let your fingers down. I always say that. But ever since I was a little kid, I knew I was going to do something outside. And I'm still doing it. And I'm so fortunate that I'm able to pull that off still. Now we caught that beaver coming up on the house. Almost, we're going on to 45 years ago since I left the farm. And, the one year I decided that I was going to be going to the field, but it wasn't going to be the hayfield. I was going to head off to Black Sturgeon Lake and see what forestry was all about. Black Sturgeon Lake just outside of Thunder Bay. Beautiful part of the country, but it wasn't Wild Algoma. Totally different beauty, but it was really nice up there. So that started me off in my forestry career. I finished my schooling and got a job. And how fast time goes by. Oh my goodness. I still dabbled in farming. I did some work for my brother-in-law, Paul, and my daughter's plays around in the beef farming business there now, and that's great. But the outdoors and nature and forestry, that's where it was at for me. And I was so thankful that I was able to scratch my living out of forestry. Didn't have a great paycheck starting off, lots of years in contract, 17 years to be exact. But I was living in Wild Algoma, and this is where I wanted to be. You look at the small tributaries and ponds, and these are all places that I grew up when I was a kid. And almost 60 years later, I'm still doing it. So I guess my messaging is there to the younger folks that are out there. If there's a lot more to life than a big fancy house and a big fancy paycheck. Don't get me wrong, I am very comfortable, and I'm quite happy doing what I do now. And I was able to raise my family, and of course that comes hand in hand with a very tolerant partner. And I'm thankful for her too, because she let me do what I love to do, and that was go to the woods. And to this day, we're still going to the woods. That's a little bit of scent there on that I know there's one more beaver in here because I did have my trail camera set up and I did get a picture of another beaver this morning. But I've got one beaver here out of this house so far, and I think I'll catch another one. Who knows? Right, that's what trapping's all about. Hit and miss. So when you find something you love to do, stick with it. Be happy with what you're doing, you know? There's no better place then at the end of the day you look around and you say, well, I didn't make a whole lot of money today, but I sure as hell enjoyed what I was doing. And I'm still working. I'm getting close to the retirement age, and that's cool, because when I retire I'm going to have more time to do this, I hope. Don't get me wrong, I'm not under the illusion that I'm going to be able to do this into my 80s and 90s. Who knows? It's it's trapping and hunting and fishing, it's all tough on your body, but as long as you do it in moderation and you're able to, enjoy it still and not hurt yourself, and you got good support from family. My son loves to hunt and fish and trap, and my daughter loves the outdoors, she loves to fish, my grandkids all love to fish, so maybe they'll bring Papa around out in the bush when he gets a day pass from the old folks home, I tell them. But no, this spot in Algoma is probably, I'm so thankful that I've been able to grow up here. Hell, I'm even living in the same house I was born in. I managed to pull that off. I have no idea how. That's pretty cool. So we got one beaver out of this house. This is a nuisance call. You see the mosquitoes and black flies are just starting to come out. So we had a really beautiful day here today. It's high 20s. Really warm, supposed to be the same tomorrow, but as we move around, we know what's coming out in the woods. The black flies and mosquitoes all play an important part, and they'll be on their way here shortly. I've got my trail camera set up on here again for tonight, so we'll see what we get. But the technology's just been amazing when it comes to scouting and looking for these, see what activity you got at your beaver traps. It's pretty darn cool too. But anyway, so that's my message tonight is, at the end of the day, you just got to enjoy what you're doing. And you don't need a huge paycheck. You pay your bills, a little bit of groceries, and be happy when you're doing it. And that's all that's important. Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful evening. Hear the birds, eh? I'll just sit here and listen to the birds for a little while before I head out. I've got to carry this beaver out to the truck, and maybe there'll be a beaver come swimming around, or a muskrat, something I can watch. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me tonight, and remember what I said. Enjoy your life. It's the only one you got. And get out and wander.